And as a result, they immigrate from the Holy Land to the West. So part of our commitment as local church is to maintain the Christian presence. And to do so, we've started several programs. Job creation, microcredits to help families start a small business, to get their own income, education, housing, medical services. We are involved in so many things that is not our duty as church. Our duty as church is salvation, is the spiritual side of it. But as a result of the conditions of life, we found ourselves obliged to be with the people, to feel with the people. It's the same like Jesus. He had to feed the people before talking about the bread of life. This is what we're doing. We are feeding the people. We are helping them to find a shelter. We are educating them. Although this is a government obligation, it's not ours. But we're taking it as a result of the absence of any governmental aid or national aid or health insurances, and as church we're doing that.
And there's very little help. Is that true with social service?
Very little.
Of the Israeli government.
In the Israeli government, there is no aid at all. At all. On the contrary, people pay taxes. In return, they don't get any services for it. And this is military occupation. You know, it's not a luxurious thing to do. You know, it's not a luxury to be under occupation. It's a killing thing. It's a catastrophe thing. Palestinian Authority is still like a baby growing one. You know, it will take time for them. Besides, they don't enjoy decision making. You know, they have to refer to the Israelis for any decision they take. So we don't hope yet that the Palestinian Authority will be able to, you know, provide for the society whatever is needed as social defense or civil defense or social aid or national aid or whatever. The church is still taking charge of these things in all our Christian, you know, community locations and parishes and groups. And this is where we as local church, we cannot take this responsibility alone. And this is why the creation of this foundation here in Washington, the Holy Land Christian Ecumenical Foundation, is to raise up in the awareness of the people here, educate them about what's happening, the conditions of life for Christians over in Palestine, and the conditions of service of us as priests, as church, and then to share with them, you know, our concerns about the future of Christianity in the Holy Land, the future of the church, and to undertake together the responsibility of maintaining Christian presence. And to do so, we need advocacy for justice, because if the whole issue of justice is solved, then the whole situation will be better. Christians will not leave the Holy Land as a result. So advocacy is important, to take a stand, you know, against the oppression and against the all what's happening in Palestine is important. Also to have to develop partnerships and to you know, share these problems and these concerns with the local Christian communities here in the States, and also to offer for churches here chances of solidarity, to express solidarity. Whether it's a collection to be organized, whether it's a project to adopt, or even to sponsor a child's education. One of the main programs of the Holy Land Christian Ecumenical Foundation here is the child sponsorship, where a family could sponsor the education of a child, Christian child in the Holy Land with $300 a year. I received last year.
And would that be for their whole education of that?
It will cover part of it, because the cost of education our diocese in the Holy Land is about $650. Well, we're not asking this amount from people, because basically, strategically, we are also trying with our local Christian community to raise their contribution also, to let them feel responsible. You know, strategically, this is important for us. So it's a partnership between both the Christian family in the Holy Land, as well as a family here, to help sustain or help take part of responsibility. And for us, this is vital, you know, because on our own we cannot survive. We need assistance. At the same time, we don't want to be, dependent on assistance. Right. We want to raise our own, contribution and responsibility toward our own, church ministry and future. And this is important. We need assistance.
And it sounds, Father Emil, it's just basic human rights. I mean, you cannot exist without being able to work, without being able to be educated, without being able to put food on the table.
Well,
and I think
to make it clear,
yes,
put yourself in my shoes and try to live for a day what I live in Palestine under occupation. To feel yourself deprived from all your rights. To feel yourself marginalized, to feel yourself with no civil rights, to feel yourself with no nation to belong to, with no identity to be proud of, with no country to belong to, with no passport to travel with. Put yourself in my shoes for one day and try to understand what does it mean to be a Palestinian.
Right, and I want to ask your opinion on this, because I really feel that Americans are have empathy with the Jewish people who suffered in their history, through the Holocaust, through...
Let me tell you something. I have 3 ideas about this. First...
Well, let me just ask you this. Why do you think that people who suffered themselves are now turning around and doing the very same things that was done to them? No freedom of movement, no identity, having to wear, I hear, having to have Palestinian license plates, no freedom of movement. This is, it's absurd. And I think also in the Jewish liturgy, there is a prayer and a reminder that you yourself was once a foreigner, and yet the Palestinians are not even foreigners. This is their own homeland. So how do you understand that this group of people who suffered are now doing the very same things that was done to them in history?
Well, it's hard to answer this question, and the problem is that they're not projecting, they're not, doing they're not hurting those who hurt them. The Palestinian people are innocent. They were not. The Palestinians are not Europeans who caused the Holocaust. So for the Jews, for the Israelis to maybe revenge. You might understand that, but you revenge from the one who hurt you, not from somebody who is innocent. So the Palestinian people have nothing to do with the Holocaust. The Palestinians are also Semites, and they share with the Jews a lot of common things. So this is why we are shocked, us as Palestinians, to be the subject of the Israeli aggression and aggressivity and violence and killing, because we never been part of what the Jews have been through in Spain, or what the Jews have been through the the Holocaust. Now, the second thing, we cannot understand why somebody who suffered would make others suffer. The ones persecuted is today the persecutor.
Yes.
We just can't understand what's happening.
And this is where